Hey guys, it's Blake. I want to do a quick review on the Ember travel mug. This is a smart coffee mug, and I recently purchased this a couple of weeks ago. Found out through a coworker about it. Not too many people know about this company, Ember. I'm the first person at my office that I have seen with the Ember mug, and I am very pleased with it so far. I want to go over a few pros and cons, but first I'm going to talk a little bit about what the Ember mug is, and then I'll get into the pros and cons. So first and foremost, the Ember Travel Mug is not your typical coffee mug. When I said it was a smart mug, I mean that it has a few electronic components inside that allow you to do a number of things. Most importantly, keep your coffee or tea hot. The battery inside gives you about 2 hours of battery life for your content staying warm. And basically, you turn on the Ember mug with this little logo, this Ember logo. If you just hold that down, you'll see that it says hello. There's a little screen here, and then there's my name, Blake. And then it'll let you cycle between well, it says cold now because there's no contents in it, but if I had contents in it, it would tell us the temperature. So the first one would be the temperature. The second one is the name of your mug, which you can program. And then the third one is the battery life. So you can see there, I'm not quite at full battery, but it basically gives you those three things: the temperature, the name, and the battery. You program this through an app, so you know everything's got an app these days. So it does connect to your phone, and with the app you can do things from labeling your mug to seeing the battery life to setting presets. So if you want specific temperatures for tea or hot cocoa or coffee, you can set presets there. You actually don't need to use the app. Once you've paired the Ember mug one time, you can just simply use the mug without the app and change the temperature by rotating this dial at the bottom here. This rotates and lets you set the degrees to your personal preference. Also, the Ember mug has a charging dock, and that's what you can see here. The charging dock is very nice because you don't have to worry about it dying. So that 2 hours, that limit on that 2 hours goes out of the window when you keep it on its dock. So you can see there when I put it on the dock, the battery comes up and it's beginning to charge. So when I use this at work, I just keep it right at my desk, and I can literally drink the same cup of coffee for hours and not worry about it dying or getting cold. So it's pretty neat, pretty fancy. Okay, so I'm going to jump right into the pros, and then I'm going to get into some of the cons where I think that Ember could have done better. Obviously, the first pro is, of course, keeping the coffee warm for 2 hours. There's no other mug that I've seen that can do this. There have been some cheaper, I've seen some cheaper mugs that do it, but they just look tacky, or they require you to keep it plugged in. I haven't seen one that's portable and as efficient and good quality as this. Just in looking at the mug, it's just really good quality. The feel, it's very, very smooth, but kind of got a nice grip to it. Nice little contour there in the design. I think they did a really good job with the design, and that's kind of like my second pro, is just how the mug feels and how it looks. It's not a dead giveaway that it's a fancy techie type of mug. At first glance, it looks like a regular mug. The giveaway would be when somebody displays that screen, that kind of alerts you like, oh, this is better than your average mug. So that's my second pro. The third pro is the mouthpiece at the top here, this lid. You can actually sip from 360 degrees. So I know it's hard to see there, but there's a little thing you push in to seal it, and then you push that centerpiece in to open it, and you can drink from any side of this mug, just like you would a regular coffee mug. Some of the other travel mugs out there normally just have one little opening that you have to find to sip from. So that's very nice and convenient. So those are the main pros. Generally, just the keeping the coffee warm is huge. Somebody like myself, I hate cold coffee, especially like lukewarm coffee. The flavor does degrade, in my opinion. So keeping it warm is really something nice, and it's a little weird at first because you're not used to having hot coffee for that long. But in using this mug for about 2-3 weeks now, I can't see going back, and definitely give you the opportunity to clear out some of those old mugs out of your cabinet, open up some space there, and get rid of those old mugs. I'll be quite honest, I think this is the best coffee mug I've come across to date. I think they've done a really good job, but there are some things that I think could have been done a little better, and that is what's going to lead me into the cons. So The first con, and this is a little minor, but just the chamber inside is a little narrow, which makes it difficult to clean and dry. So I recommend getting one of those brushes to help you clean it. You definitely can't get your hand inside of it like you would a normal coffee mug. So when I tried to clean it at first, I was having some difficulty. So I got one of those brushes. Those help out greatly. Drying it is also a little difficult because you can't get your hand in it. So, I recommend using something like the brush, some paper towels, maybe you can get in there. It's not that bad, but it is a little bit difficult to clean and dry it. That's my first con. Okay. And then the second con that I have is really, it comes down to this lid here. And there's not much they could have done about this because it is an airtight seal. So this isn't a real big hit on Ember. I just want to mention, and I've seen this in a couple other reviews, when it comes to this lid, when you put coffee in it, hot coffee, and then you go to put the lid on, I recommend you put the lid on with it open. If you have the lid on with it closed and then you twist it on, the pressure builds up inside, and then when you go to open it, you're going to see a little bit of coffee kind of spray out with that pressure buildup, and it can kind of make a mess. It's a little bit annoying. So the quickest way to solve that is just don't put the lid on with it closed. Keep it open. That way pressure doesn't build up. And really, I keep the lid open all the time unless I plan on carrying it with me and I'm traveling with the mug and I am worried about spilling it. I normally keep the lid open at my desk. That way it's easy to sip from and you don't have to worry about constantly pushing that in. So that's one of the cons there, is just that little bit of spray coming out of the top of the lid there. Okay. And then the third con that I want to get into is really the rapid cooling that they claim that the mug has. If you check the website, they claim to have rapid cooling element inside so that when you put hot coffee in, it kind of rapidly cools it down to your desired temperature. So for instance, my desired temperature is about 138 degrees. When I put coffee in at work, the coffee comes in just over 155. And I expected it to rapidly cool down to 138 in about a minute or two. I found it to be quite a bit longer than that. Probably about 5-10 minutes is what it took to get down to that temperature, which in my opinion is more along the natural time it would take if you didn't have a cooling element. Not saying they don't have it, I'm just saying that I wouldn't quite call it rapid. So that's one of the cons that I had there, was I found it to take a little bit longer than expected to get down to that desired temperature. Not a big deal. Honestly, I could sip from it at 150, 155, and it wasn't scalding, so I don't have a big problem with that. And also keeping the lid open does increase or decrease the time it takes for the coffee to lower in temperature, so that's not that bad. Those are my three cons really there. And I have one suggestion that would be nice from Ember. Actually, a couple of suggestions, not really cons, but things I think that they could add, especially for the price point, which is actually the con that I want to save for last. The suggestions I have is, one being that it'd be nice if they showed you how much coffee was in the mug. I think it'd be nice to have one more cycle here where if you tap it to that fourth time, it would show us a little display of how much coffee's in the mug. It's a little difficult to gauge how much is in it. And it's not a huge deal, but just at this level of tech, I think it would have been one extra nice thing to have as a sensor inside to show us how much coffee is remaining in the mug. The other suggestion I have is some sort of way to personalize the mug. That way, if your significant other has the same mug, you guys don't get them mixed up. So I know there's the way you could see the name, but you have to cycle through the name. There should be a way, like maybe an LED ring around this rotation, where you could set that to your favorite color, like blue or pink or green, and that way, when that light is there, you know whose mug is whose. It would just be a nice feature to have, just personalization. Okay, and then the con that I saved for last is the price point. This is probably my biggest complaint about the mug. The price point of the Ember travel mug comes in at $149.99, $150. Very, very pricey mug, probably the most expensive you'll find on the market. Don't get me wrong, I went back and forth on purchasing this. I finally decided to do it because I drink coffee every day, at least 1 cup a day, and I figured, hey, if it's going to better my day-to-day routine, maybe it's worth it. I will say, after reviewing everything about it and experiencing it for weeks, I will say it is worth the $150 I spent. However, I do think that that price point is too high. They need to get this mug down to $100 or less. $150 is just too high for a travel mug, and most people are going to feel uncomfortable with that price point. I know they're a newer company and they probably haven't gotten the price point down for manufacturing reasons, but that $150, when I tell my friends and coworkers, they're kind of taken back by it and immediately turned off by that price. $150 is definitely a bit high, but even with all that being said, I really enjoy the mug. It has made my experience with coffee on the day-to-day much, much better. So I think it is worth the $150 I spent. If you have the money to throw at it, I would say do it. If not, I completely understand. They actually have another cheaper mug that's not watertight seal. It's an open coffee cup style, and that supposedly does about the same thing, although I've heard it doesn't stay as hot because of the fact that it's not sealed like the travel mug. It is cheaper if you want to check that out. So that is my quick review on the Ember travel mug. Go check it out. If you guys are coffee connoisseurs, I think you'll really, really enjoy this mug. I take it with me to work. I take it with me to church. I really, really enjoy the Ember mug. And here is the charging dock. It's just that simple. Go get you the Ember mug if you are into it. I hope this helped you to make your decision. Take it easy, guys, and I'll see you on the next review. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please do. I've got more reviews coming on the way, tech, audio, gaming related. If you have any suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it, and please comment any questions you have and I'll do my best to answer them. Again, subscribe below, leave comments. I'll have more reviews coming your way. Thanks, guys.